Lena here, this time from Sydney. So let me share my reaction, and I'm sure some of you would have had a similar reaction, others really different. Let me know in the comments. But at the time, as it was unfolding, I was thinking, oh, what happened to our blue tsunami? But you know what? It wasn't a red wall. It really wasn't. And since then, these 2 days since then, have you noticed in the commentary and stuff, the emphasis is now right back in the GOP lap, right? Because they had enough wins that they couldn't moan about the voting system, or they can, of course they can, they're good at moaning, but it doesn't look good. And the vibe was quite calm. Yes, there were some guys in trucks intimidating ballot boxes from here and there, but it really, considering the times, it went off really calmly, and I think the good thing is many of, well, just about all the electoral offices everywhere, even in red states, were really conscious of having to do things right. I think it was Milwaukee, had a huge number of independent observers, even international observers, So I think this bodes well for 2024. It's taking all their arguments away, So, and of course, we still don't know about Georgia, and I think Nevada's the other one. So let's just have a look here. I want to look broadly at how the next 2 years is going to unfold. But after that first night of feeling a bit blah, I've actually been feeling weirdly up. What about you guys? Don't know why. Anyway, we'll see. I mean, you've still got those like Carrie Lake, who's saying the dog ate my votes. You're going to get those. But by and large, sort of holding together. So let's go big first. We'll have a look at that. Now, this is very awkward. It won't be a long video because I'm sitting on the floor. And you know what? I'm getting too old to do this. So let's bring this down. So the next 2 years. Before I pull any cards, I digress. I just wanted to say, we all know if the numbers had sort of stayed the same, which they have, it's so hard for the Dems to get anything through. It's so hard. But now you've got these different GOPites who will be holding things up. And if the Dems are smart, collectively, they'll say, oh, Kentucky is saying no to your infrastructure bill. Idaho is saying no to you getting another tax break. Oh, Indiana is stopping you doing this, that, and the other. So start naming names, name and shame. Okay. Just get a general post-electoral vibe. How's it going to go? Let's see. How's it going to go? All right. Oh, I think I've got them all upside down. Let's have a look. All right, we've got... This is the Six of Cups, the card of nostalgia. But in this case, I think it's an enormous relief, and the USA should collectively pat itself on the back, considering how many millions of out-and-out election-denying nutcases were out there. This represents going back to when elections were more reliable, pre-Trump. They weren't perfect then, lest we forget, right? But I think that's what this card is talking about. People are sort of reassured on some fundamental level. Look, underneath the card of celebration, I still think this represents a Dem win because all the polls said no hope, no hope. There's relief here. This is sort of a bit of relief too. And relief, it wasn't worse than it was. It was not a mandate to go ahead with your crazy. No. And in the 5 states that put abortion on the bill, it got slapped down, right? You know, these new horrifying, well, they're not new, they're ancient horrifying things to repress women were battered away. So there is some reason for celebration. A lot of work to be done, bit by bit by bit. Yes, there will be, let's call them alternative agendas, meaning how to undermine democracy, you know, during the week. Yeah, they'll still be there with their agendas. Okay, but now the 2 cards that are interesting, message from the universe. The Knight of Wands. Gorgeous card. I hope you like this card. The Knight of Wands is coming out with action and fire and going forward with conviction. Okay. Followed by the King of Wands. Here's the King of Mardi Gras here. The King of Wands. These 2 go together. This is young people. This is more mature approach to getting things done. Right. So I think there's room for some optimism here. But I mean, thanks to Mansion and Cinema, yeah, things weren't going anywhere fast. But now the GOP, I've got to do one on the GOP because this represents a disaster for them. It wasn't fun night for the Dems, but it's a disaster for the GOP because midterms, you're supposed to swing it all the other way. And they failed to do that. Let's have a look at the GOP. How are they feeling? I mean, awful people did get back Jim Jordan. What's wrong with people? I mean, really? Right? Ugh, yucky people. But there were significant wins. But let's look at how the GOP is going to handle. I'm not going far out. I just mean handle the next few months. How's the GOP going to deal with this? How's the GOP going to deal with this? Spy in the camp. Oh, they get the Tower. See, this is their nightmare and the false knight. Or it could be Biden. We'll see. Knight of Swords. Now, this can be, when it's positive, it can be going out and fighting for what you believe in, which is what they think they're doing. However, when it's next to the Tower, it has its more negative connotation, which is just not thinking, just impulsively going ahead, and it can be the spy in that camp. As I said, there's the Tower. It's like they actually can't come back from this on one level, I think. The Tower can lead, the destruction of the Tower can lead to having to rebuild, but they haven't got the building card. It's like they've got the Fred Flintstone card. So they're not going to listen to each other. And this is actually going to gut the GOP. I just heard Mitch McConnell. Ooh, yuck. As if I want Mitch McConnell in my right ear. Ooh, how repulsive. But I think what that was about was the universe giving me a nudge. The problem now is the Lindsey Grahams, the Mitch McConnells, those old guards Republicans are up against the new Maddies. So it's going to tear them apart. And I don't think this is Biden in this context. I think this is, again, this is all emotion, this King of Cups. Who's going to lead the GOP into 2024? They've got some work to do, and they're really divided over this. You've got the Trumpists versus DeSantis. which is going to be the biggest show in town. I think they're going to rip each other's jugulars out and leave them in the sawdust. Yeah. I really, really sincerely believe this, that Trump is going to do everything he can to destroy DeSantis, and DeSantis is going to use all his tricks of the trade to try, and he doesn't want to confront Trump because he's not a brave man, to move around him. I didn't see DeSantis's victory speech, did you guys? But apparently he took on the MAGAs and the Trump appointees, because Carrie Lake was on some right-wing thing going, oh, DeSantis has been telling everybody that if you're a Trump person, you cannot win. So DeSantis is taking him on. So this is going to be fascinating. And Trump's going to run out of nicknames. I heard someone called him, what was it, Colonel Slanders. I love that. We should start using it. The Yeti can move over to Colonel Slanders. And because he does that, you know, you can only do it so often and it gets a stale circus trip. Okay. Now, things are not going well for our Elon, are they? No. Well, this is what happens. Pet, I said love, I said pet. If you buy a new company and you sack 3,700 people without even speaking to them, you have created 3,700 enemies, and they're forming a class action as we speak. I love that. We'll have to look into that in the future because it's bad. It's just bad. Okay, and he's worked out he doesn't know how to do everything himself. Ha! Now, here we go. 14 of Yeti's candidates lost. 14 of them. 1-4. Love it. Okay, so let's see. How is the Yeti, Colonel Sanders? How is his head? As we speak, how is his head? Let's check it out. He's not just got one spy in the camp. Oh, look, this keeps coming up. Oh, my God. Struggling, you could say struggling, right? So, okay, this is the Getty card. He's got so many because there's cards about greedy men, tick. There's cards about bad people, tick. Cards about people who rush out and don't think. So this is going to be one of his cards. And he, like Putin, is massively paranoid about those around him. And you know what? He's got good reason to be. Awesome. Now, holding on to his money. Well, what money, you might say? Yeah, right. So apart from collecting $20 from Gloria in Idaho, he's got money problem. Now his money's frozen, literally. With the New York cases, very interesting times for him. And he doesn't have the power. An ex-pres simply doesn't have the power of a current one. So he's struggling. Now, what have we got here? We've got Biden. This is back to the King of Cups being Biden, and the World card. So it's like the world was relieved. I'm reporting here from the rest of the world. Was so relieved that it wasn't, you know, a demolition job of democracy itself. I mean, there weren't, you know, mass shootings in polling stations, you know. The result isn't too bad, not fabulous, but not too bad. And so the world is a bit relieved that Biden is still there and has the support of most people. So the Yeti hates that, hates it. So this is the Yeti's reading. I'm going to do a couple of extra clarifiers here. how's the Yeti feeling? Because this was giving us the background, but not how he's actually feeling. What's happening? How's the Yeti feeling? Oh, a reversal. Ha! Look, he's netting what he can pull in, because this is the other thing, intrepid viewers. With him announcing, I'll do a mini read on that in a minute, but once he announces they're not going to pay his legal bills. So this is him just hauling in what he can from where he can and who he can. But he gets the grand gentleman reversed. Not so grand. He just runs on ego. His ego is his oxygen, and it's never him, right? So you can imagine heads will be rolling in a 5-mile radius of the Yeti as we speak, for sure. But it's like his power, I feel, has been broken. He's a bit of a spent force now, and they will end up having to argue over whether to go with a lame duck Yeti or someone else. Now, okay, what did I say just then? I was going to read on. You'll be screaming at the screen. Sorry. It's escaped my brain. But back to Elon Musk for a minute. Not only is there a class action, Tesla shares have fallen through the floor along with everything else. And I have said for over a year now, I don't know if it's here or on collaborations, China will bring out a cheaper electric car and Tesla will be relegated to the sidelines. He's creaming it now. But, okay. So, oops. Raving on. Now, what else have I got in my notes? Oh, yes. Just give me a minute. Shapiro, that was an important win. Gretchen Whitmer, important win. Okay. Now, let's have a look at how the Dems are feeling in this wash-up. How are the old guard Dems feeling? Oh. Yeah, emotion, and a bit of emotion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cards are all cups. So, yes, relief. Again, some sort of stabilization. They're not marvelously happy, of course. They're seeing the missed opportunities here and there and this and that, and they know they have to try and work with these awful, cretinous people who choose to be thunderously stupid, and stroppy and difficult and impossible, really. So they know that's ahead. However, they're sitting pretty to some extent with this. They're going to really work on their allies and allegiances, because as the GOP breaks up, it's going to be easier for Dems to take more ground next year. And emotional relief, I think, particularly after the Paul Pelosi episode, I think it's relief at this level. I think the poll workers and everybody involved on the ground actually did a brilliant job. They were very brave to wade in, still put up their hand and say, do it. But I think they got much better protection than ever before in elections. And I think they felt that. Now, I know what I want to say. The other thing that's happened is there's more court cases now being launched about news outlets pushing the voter denial stuff, right? And That's good. That's a court case with Murdoch. It's a court case, I think, against OAN and a few others. Entertainment only, YouTube. But this is the way to stop this stuff now. Stop it. I don't want to have to come and smack your legs. Just stop it, you know. So the way to do it is to cost them huge amounts of money for pushing it. Any outlet can have people from every point of view saying their thing, but when they just mindlessly push it, like the evil fox did for so long, knowing it was a lie. Now, court cases. I've been wondering why there haven't been, and now there are, lots of them. So, what's going to happen with the media landscape? What's going to happen with the media landscape? I mean, people will still have their echo chambers, of course, but the problem is corporate media. CNN was fantastic 20 years ago, and now it's really just talking heads. And although they'll push some Democrats positively, they wouldn't touch Bernie. They won't touch the progressives. Oh, that's what I want to remember, progressive. Yeah. Will they do a more progressive agenda? Okay, so I'm looking. Oh, my brain's gone today. I've forgotten what I'm reading on too. I'm so sorry. I think my brain's just so overloaded. It's just flying out the window. So you can put in the comments, Lena, you said you were going to read on this and you didn't. Lena, what happened to that question? Okay, let's just have a look at this. Now we'll go more general. With the Dems, will they get more progressive? Will they get more progressive? Will they allow their progressives off the leash? Let's have a look. They better. I'll be very cross. Oh, yeah, willing and dealing. Oh, this is not bad, I have to say. Look, people vote, as we know, on bread and butter issues. So you need, Dems I'm talking to collectively, you need to explain to people who it is that is refusing to put their wages up. Who is it that's stopping you getting a better deal? Who is it stopping affordable housing? You know, so they still have to wait, I think, for the older ones to pass along. I think this represents the Schumers, the Nancys, Biden himself. I think it's time between now and 2024, while the GOP is cannibalizing itself, the Dems need a reckoning too to bring out some younger blood. They have positive emotion working for them, and the Ace of Pentacles is a great opportunity to do this. So if they do it selectively and smartly, state by state, some states will be receptive to the message and other states won't. So use your Katie Porters, your AOCs, your Pete Buttigieg's, put them out there. Put them out there. Eric Swalwell for president. Is that just me? I'd love to see that. Okay, my darlings. All right, so my brain's so fractured today. I think I'll wind it up there. I'm just going to do a message for you guys from the universe. What's a takeaway message to keep the energy up and focused? Have a break first. Have a good break after all your hard work, worrying, and all that. But the sky hasn't fallen in. It's really not bad. So let me just pull a message from the universe for the viewers. This is for you guys. A message for you guys. Oh. Have I got these upside down again? Yes. 8 of Wands. There will be wildness happening. Oh, I'm getting reversals today. Oh, bless. Pentacles. I'm going to talk about this. Okay. All right. Now, after you've recovered, that might be 3 days for some of you. It might be 6 months for others. I call this card incoming. Of course, there's going to be lots and lots of things going on. However, now, here comes the Yeti, Colonel Slanders, as we're now calling it. Okay, so he's still there. Still there. Do not fear. He will not be a player in 2024. In 2024, he can talk about it all he likes in the next 2 years. So he's going to be around causing havoc. Not so much for the Dems, for the GOP. He's their monster now. Just remember that, right? He's their monster now. This is the card of looking after yourself in this context. Okay, so this is the farmer looking at the harvest when it's talking about money. But Pentacles are earth, and they're talking about health as well. They rule the body. 10 of Pentacles, usually about money. This isn't, this, look, we've got all these Pentacles. This time it's not about money. So just remember that, who are learning tarot. Pentacles are also about your values, intergenerational values that you guys need to embrace and pass on to the next gen. We need to engage. I think there were quite a few young people voting, but the Dems have to prioritize youth in the next 2 years. Sorry, I digress. This is back to you. This is telling me over and over here to tell you, look after your physical body. Really look after it. Now, and this will be your reward and your gift. If you look after the body and the mind and the psyche and the spirit, all of it, 5-pointed star for all the senses in Pentacles. If you look after all of that, the universe will look after you. Oh, that is so cute. All right, guys. Now, I'm in Sydney now, and the day after tomorrow, I fly out to the Cook Islands, big family reunion, big memorial for a very loved family member. So the next time you see me, it'll be in the Cook Islands. If you don't know where that is, get out a map. Look for Tahiti. And the other half of Tahiti is the Cook Islands. So you guys take care. I miss you, love you, but just know you're going on holiday, okay? And I'm going to take you with me. Bye now. Ciao.